Right,
going to do a
to the last talk, and you join me with now, a very good friend of mine, and I've been a part of bait support for a very long time, and a lot of angling with George. We like to hit linear fisheries, mate, don't we? Do a lot of linear. So, what we're going to do is, I think it'd be quite good if we can get these going round out the front. Obviously, the two packets obviously haven't got anything going in, but if people come up and just grab these, pass them around. So what you've got in front of you there is a Gemini 100% fluorocarbon leader. Now these have changed my solid bag angling tenfold. Now let me go over it. So if everybody's got one in front of them, I know everybody's not going to have one in front of them. Again, I'll get a couple more going around so you can see it. Remember, these have got hooks and all, so be very careful.
Yeah, there's bricks on.
Get one going over here.
Over.
So this is a 100% fluorocarbon solid bag leader. Now, why are these so good? Now, first of all, this is around £35 on these, but I've never had an issue with the range. I've never been cut off. This is Lewis as well, again, a very common PVA bag angler. So, what have we done here? The lads all day, I'm sure some of you have been up and you've had a little go. So, what we've done is we've got packets of our 100% fluorocarbon leaders, and what you'll find is there's two 6mm rings at the bottom. Now it's a perfect way to eliminate your lead. It's funny because I've got a couple of people in front of me that was fishing Euro Aqua, and this is exactly how I was fishing over at Euro Aqua, to be honest, because I was catching big fish and I wanted to dump lead, all the fish up in the water and get them in. Same with linear fisheries. You fish in linear fisheries, there's a lot of weed in there, mate, and stuff like that. You want to pull them up. Do you drop your leads, lads, every time, or do you fix your leads? Depends where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, if there's a lot of weed around there, I'll definitely drop them off, but majority of the time I'll keep them on.
Fishing might be one big.
Otherwise you end up losing hundreds of leads, especially if it's kicking off.
So there you go. So it's not every time you need to drop your leads. So we're gonna base it off a fluorocarbon leader. So what you would do is, being that there's two 6mm rings on there, you always want one free running. The reason for that is it gives it plenty of movement when it's in your bag, but also your mechanics of your rigs work better because of that second 6mm ring. Now, in order to ask you this question, how long would you have your link, mate, and why? Hook link itself, so you can tell the audience.
Always 4 inches or more, 4.5. So it's just
Exactly
bang on, bang on.
What's the reasons behind this, Lou? Why do you fish a short link in a bag?
Because, well, with the short link, you've got the pellet in there, just gives you a little 4 inches of pellet enough to give you a little leeway to go around there. But I'll sit my lead on the bottom of the bag and have my hook bait apart from the top into the pellet. And the minute they pick that up, they haven't got time to spit it out. The minute they pick it up, boom, they're up.
Yeah, it's so literally, you've got that much movement. As soon as it sucks it in, spits that hook. Literally straight away. So
they both just nailed that. They 100% agree. And another benefit there of a 6mm ring. If that swivel is up in the lead, that's less movement because a swivel is probably what? 8-9mm more movement, but because it's a 6mm ring, it pulls it down even more. That 6mm ring has changed my angling. I'm telling you now. I know, do you fish a Gemini?
All I normally use is leaders, obviously, leaders when you can. So like a leg core leader or a legless leader, wherever you can. If not, we'll go just straight through.
Okay, so what we're going to do is now, George's going to talk through how he sets the lead up now. So obviously we're going to base it on, we'll keep it generic now, we'll talk about the Gemini moves. So obviously if I give you that and that, what is that in your left hand, and what does it do?
This is a quarter PVA tail rubber. They normally use these PVA bags, so when you tie the bag, it sticks out, it gives you a bit to tie to. But normally, you just get the fluorocarbon leader, push it into the end.
And they're quite good, the Gemini ones. It does go in.
Yeah,
you know, every time you sat there waiting, oh, I've got to trim it down. You don't want to trim it down. If you're just careful with it, they do go in the end.
Bit by bit by bit.
But don't push it in and then crimp your fluorocarbon up. If you do, bang, just pop through. If you do, then iron it out on the steamer there. So you can run that straight through. Now that's now come up to his 6mm ring, and this is where it gets spicy because this is, some of you may be watching this. And I'm not trying to teach anybody how to suck eggs. If you know how to drop lead, that's fine. But some people may not know how to drop a lead. So in front of us,
you get the lead. You make sure you get the barrel of the swivel. The little tiny one goes into the end of the lead. Quite tight to get it in. Get them in tight. And like Ben was saying, you've got to make sure when you pour the leader up the lead, you've got to make sure that the swivel on the end out. The swivel is free moving. See that?
And he's
that's
absolutely nailed that, and I couldn't have said it any better. It's imperative. I use the word imperative that 6 mil rip can move. It's got to be able to move. You probably think it doesn't need to move, Ben. But what I tried to say is, like I said, from the mechanics point of view, when it does pick up, it's going to lock in, and then the lead will then just move out, won't it?
And then you hold feed it up the lead at the notch.
So this isn't going through the lead itself; it's going over the lead.
On the side of the lead, and then you grab the rubber, and you bring the rubber down, and you put it over the top of the lead.
If you need to, a little bit of lube on there. Lake water does the same thing. Lube, just pushing it down. Now, if you don't mind showing them that, if you can just eject the lead.
Oh, I need to.
That's fine. So again, fish picks it up,
Quite tough.
and it's going to come off, and then the fish is going to immediately come up in the water. Thank you very much. So that is the benefits of using a lead. I'm probably thinking, well, that's quite expensive to do, but for some of you, you might have been waiting 3 months for that exciting trip. You went to France, or whether you got in your fishing, you've spent loads of money on it, you've bought all your bait. For the sake of all the money you've spent prior to that, for the sake of a £2 lead and guaranteeing that, not guaranteeing, but bringing your chances up of catching that £30, in my eyes, take my £2. You can have the £2, but they're not £2, because they're half based on the cheaper than that. So that there is our inline leads. So on that note then, so we've got to the point of the loose. I'm going to flick it over to you now, mate. So you've run it round. Now it's funny because you tie bags completely different to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to talk through then, Lou, exactly how you tie your bags, and after that I'll then do mine, and we can then compare the two. Not that it's right, not that it's wrong. So how you're one for putting your lead one side, so then the lead then falls down on the top. I fish differently. Doesn't mean you're right, doesn't mean you're wrong. Everybody's got their own way of fishing. Lou does it like this, catches plenty of knockers. So off you go then, mate. Just talk it through as you do it, please.
So bag. Always use a little bit of magic dust, because it always goes up in the water column and brings the fish down. That's a good one.
The other benefits for that, just working off what Lewis said there, it stops the hook point blowing. Even a 1 mil pellet can take the eye off the kamakura, can't it? But if you use salt or if you use magic dust, it will eliminate that problem.
Salt is a big factor in my bag.
You use loads of salt.
Loads of salt.
It was comes in
a
like
big bucket of bait, half to be pellet, half to be salt, and not a lot of people do that. But I go well over the top with my salt, and it shows different results. So I've got this at the bottom, quarter bag maximum, no more than that, maybe a little bit less. Then I'll grab my hook bait and fold it back up the hook, fold it back up the leg, hold it straight. I'll get the bit that's flat with no line. Put that in, and I'll lay that on my fingers and push it down, so it's nice and flat. So let's set down that flat against my fingers and I'll push it down and then touch it. Yeah, we're happy. 2 scoops. So that's a quarter bag, and then I'll go lead in 2 scoops, 2 big scoops as well. 1, 2, and that's enough to cover the lead. Once the lead's covered, put my hand on it, just give it a little massage there so it sits flat. Pick up my hook bait. Always when you pick up your hook bait, make sure it's not tangled around your leg or anything, because when you get done, it won't sit on me. And then I'll push my hook bait up slowly where I break the flat in space, all the way to the top of my leg.
why do you do that? What's the reason for it?
I'll do that just, it's more confidence, it's just a confidence factor really. So when I've got the hook bait out, I know that when I've got a hole in the top of the bag, that's going to be the weak point of the bag, so that's the weak point up top, and heavy on the side is the lead at the bottom.
So you let,
So automatically, when you hit that water, that lead's going to go flip to the bottom, and
hook weight's always on top.
always on top, no matter what.
Very fair.
Push the hook bait down, and then two big scoops. One,
And is it mini mix pellet you always use?
always use mini mix.
Best mix to use, mate. Best mix for bags.
With that rock salt, it's so fine as well, it fills your bag up. I know like that, you lose it on full. Once you have rock salt in there as well, it's so fine.
Would you both use our bigger pellets? So would you use the fish
You
pellet?
can use a big pellet, but you'll find it easier to tie the bag. Compact.
Because of the smaller
Less
pellets.
volume in the bag, haven't you?
And then I'll sort of pinch the bag with 2 fingers, give it a little twist, cut the back, and then I'll hold that tight, give it a nice big old turn. Keep patting it while you turn, make sure it's nice and tight.
So again, Jordan's giving him PVA tape there. Is that something you use or do you use
A
string?
lot of people lick and stick it, but when you're casting 30 rats, 25 rats, they don't always stay stuck. So you can have a bit of this is just a little bit of a confidence boost. Tie around 4 or 5 times.
You could absolutely leather them.
And you can have and they give it 2 underhand knots. Get a pair of scissors.
Yes, yeah.
This is
Trim off all the little access bits hanging off. And this bit is the main part as well. Always make sure the bottom is always your bottom tight, and this is also going to put your distance when you cast. So hit your corners, which are as tight down as you can.
I notice you're being quite aggressive with that.
Yeah, so don't be scared to push it down. Give it raw down there, get it nice and tight, push it in there. You won't break it back.
I think a lot of people do get scared with that.
Once you've got a decent corner on there, give it a good lick and pull it across as far as you
It's a
can.
perforating bags as well. They're these bags that people wasn't aware. And do use the Gemini ones as well.
And do exactly the same on the other side. That's it. Pass that one around, mate. Look, Gavin's a good way to back.
There isn't any more made, is there?
Back your face and tighten it on.
We'll get you guys a good look in a second when it comes round. This is how he ties his PVA bags. Welcome into all those joining us today.
Can I get this clean quickly so I can just show everyone?
Yeah.
Just turn you around that way, guys. Ben getting everything ready for his go. So
Yeah, it is obviously, this is going to be passed round now to everybody. You get a really good gauge of how Lewis fishes his PVA now, and I've just asked Jordan, I was pretty sure he was anyway, but he fishes exactly the same. They put that lead in, and they're fishing it all over the top. Very Rob Burgessy, I must say.
That's where I got it from.
Oh, is it? There you go. So that there is how Jordan and Lewis tie theirs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how I tie mine, and it's slightly different. And maybe a little bit easier, if I'm honest with you.
It is.
So I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start off my end now. Very similar concept. Then when this bag's then been passed around, everybody's seen it, we'll then get Lewis to put it in the tank so you can see how it reacts to the water. So here's my way of doing it. Here is the link, exactly the same setup. Easy. Lead goes in, hook goes in first. I always try and put it off to the corner. But I also want to make sure that the hook link and the hair is sitting off to the back left or sitting off to the back right. So the hook is run away from the hook bait itself. So I know when that bag breaks down, the hook bait is going to sit on top of the hook itself. You don't want the hook facing your bait because it potentially could cause problems. So, what I'm trying to demonstrate, so I normally sat there in my lovely little kizzy with eating on. So, what do I do now? I always drop the bag and I use my fingers now like that. So what I've done is, and this is exactly what I mean there, and this is a prime example actually, because this is what I'm saying, you're not being careful. You can actually sit right on top of there. No? People's thoughts of that. It's just not sitting right. And all of a sudden there, within 2 seconds, I've completed, I would have just carried on there, that bag there, that hook is going to go straight into that hook bait itself. So again, I'll pull it out, it's not good enough. I'm not a half measured guy, it's either 100% or I don't bother at all. So that then gets pulled off to the side and then we go again. So I'm going to come around here. And then what I can do is then I can use the magic dust to my advantage now, like Lewis did. And get a little bit of that.
I think with that magic dust, it will carry on spitting up particles for hours, you know what I mean?
So again, one last time, checking it one last time just before I do put that magic dust in, a little bit of magic dust in the bottom there, and that's my first point. And then you've noticed the lead is then dropped on top. I've seen it with my own eyes, I've tested it, it really annoys the missus, it really offends her when I sit there in my dining room at home and I'm making bags and absolutely stinks the house out. But the only way you learn is to keep practicing things. So what I'm going to do is now is I'm going to tap that down, but also, and again, I know I'm going to repeat myself, but I know that hook limb is 110% at the bottom and the hook is facing away from the bait itself. Now what I'm going to do is, at this point, I would then put maggot in. I'm a massive fan of maggots. Obviously, I would normally fish a Medusa, but I don't like putting the maggots at the bottom of the bag, and I'm sure Jordan and Lewis will agree with me on this one. You put it in the back and you've got the potentials of it hooking it and then hindering your obviously catching fish. So then I go in with the pellet on top. So I get X amount of mini mix pellet on top, and then what I say do different, if I've got salt, I use salt, especially pre-spawn. So if anybody didn't know, I've been talking about salt a lot, and I know Lewis does this, and this is why I use it. Fish are proactively, carp in particularly, proactively look for the mineral in salt prior to a spawn. There's only two ways that they can get that in their natural habitat. It's brackish water, and you also find that fishes at certain times of the year, carp, will smash minnows, because minnows have got salt content in them. So they're trying to do that in their natural environment. So if you can put it in artificially, give salt to them, sure on an edge itself. Jim Shelley, fishing up Rockford at the moment, goes up with 60 kilo of rock salt in. He's catching. Why? Because they keep visiting that spot. They're practically looking for the mineral. They're rubbing on it. They're up against it. Big lumps of it. So this is it, last little bit now, and this is a key point for me. And something I don't know if again, it looks slightly different, but I fish a lot of range. So what you'll find is there, my lead comes straight out the middle of the bag itself there. Straight out the middle of the bag itself there, and that's when you can now again start being aggressive with it. Not much different, but I would say very different to a degree of how you two do it by putting it on the thing. But it doesn't mean I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, I'm right. But it's just everybody's got their own way of doing it. It's just the way I've done it, and I've done it like this way for years. It's done me fish over 50 pounds.
You want to try both ways, so whichever way suits you.
Yeah, it's just a confidence.
You might find it easier doing it our way or maybe doing it Ben's way.
Totally agree.
Whichever way suits you, you will get bites on both. Easily, both.
Little tip as well, what I always do is give yourself a lot of pull on that.
Make sure the
You can
bag's hanging out
strap
like
it
that.
in and then wrap that around like this. So much easier, especially when you're on your own. You can then pull it off and then give yourself loads of leeway. I noticed Luke, he done it a minute ago, a little bit either side. I'm cack-handed.
I'm just a saver. I'm not save it as long as I possibly can.
There you go. And I've pulled down the tight, and I've got the same scenario there. And I've also got them beautiful maggots in there. And what you will notice, again, when you pass this bag round in a second, that the maggots aren't that visible because they've almost been protected by the outer, the crust that we put in, the magic dust, the mini mix, and also the salt there. So again, you've seen this, but as I'm cutting my bag now and tightening it down, it might be worth it if you want to get your bag back then, Lou, we can talk through the process.
Thank you very much.
And what Lou and Jordan can do is, they can both work, what they can both do is as it's breaking down, talk through what you're seeing.
So first, when you're in the bag, just about to cast it out. Always, you've got the hook bait. This is my hook bait, you can't see it from where you are. I'll cut the top of it. Give me this. I'll cut the top of it, do a little line next to it, and then do another line next to it. So it's almost like a little L shape. That's going to be my weak point of my bag now. So that's where my hook bait is. That's where I want my weak point.
So when would you inject it?
So if I inject it, so I normally inject it with a flat spot. Instead of cutting the hole, I inject it on the spot.
And that is your hole.
That is my hole. So I do it either side. So one that side, just so I know I've got.
That makes sense.
Bigger hole. You chop it in there. You have a look at that. Bubbles coming straight from the hole.
Yeah, where he pierced it. The reason why it's better when it's tight, it pops open. If it's all like loose, it doesn't pop open.
Tighten the bag, the quicker it's gonna.
It will literally just pop open.
Yeah,
Look, see, all just once this side goes, it just is a perfect path.
That's a bite,
It's
isn't
a
it?
mouthful bite.
Right, guys, that's why I use Parker
What I love
baits.
about that, it's there, it's visible straight away.
the lead's completely covered as well. That's another factor. The lead's brought to the bottom because then when that breaks over, the lead is 100% covered.
How beautiful that is.
And that's like one suck game over, isn't it? They
Yeah,
come over, they suck it in, by the time they know it's a hook.
And last year, so the first time I didn't really use solid bags, started fishing up with Connor, you've probably seen him on the channel. Started fishing up with Connor, he started saying, yeah, stop doing it. I fished up nearly fisheries on B2, I fished 2 nights. Didn't have the rods out at night time either, because it was time, 52 fish. 52 fish for 2 nights.
52 fish, B2, wasn't it?
B2, all the solid bags.
And again, that video, just to back Lewis up, he's actually done a full video on this, to back it up. He's not a talker, he's a walker, and he does it. You go out, you do catch fish. Every time Lewis goes out, he catches fish. There's a full video. What's your channel, mate, called?
Louis Catfish Adventures.
So go over, check that out. It's on there. Like I said, there's no wool over your eyes here at Parker Bait. You can say you've caught 50 fish, but when you've got it on video, the proof's in the pudding. So there it is. A little bit more of a taste in your mouth of how myself, Jordan and Lewis, how we fish our PVA bags. We are going to be doing this. I know Lou's got to shoot them, but myself and Jordan are going to be on hand for 10-20 minutes after this to go over any questions people have got, or you're struggling maybe with something, or something's not quite happening the way it's happened and you've seen today. Hopefully we can answer your question. But yeah, there it is. That's how I fish my PVA bags, using Parker Bait's components. And obviously, big shout out to Gemini Tackle as well. I use Gemini stuff, you use Gemini stuff. It's just simple and it's easy.
Good.
Them booze, I mean, the packs. I don't know if anybody saw the packs when we first started. We handed them round. There's 3 in these packs. By the way, I'm not connected with Gemini. There's 3 boom sections in there.
You can get them in normal as well.
You can get them normal as well. So me personally, like I said to you earlier, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but I'd rather drop the leads and bring the fish up in the water and not. I'm not saying I can't use the word guarantee catching fish, but maximise my chances catching fish that you can get with these Gemini Tackle. And that 6mm ring is a game changer. Another thing I've started doing with them 6mm as well. When I get my legs made, I get my legs made with a 6mm ring on. Any movement you can pull down to meaning if the swivel's that big and you've got a 6mm reel that big, that percentage, it might be 4%, that's 4% extra of that hook hole property, that whack factor in the bottom lip. Them small little refinements, because it's left movement when they pick it up, it can't move as fast. So definitely a food for thought when you're fishing. Think that little bit more about whys and what if, or how I cut it, like Lewis just mentioned.
Another one. You need one of these scoops, otherwise take it away. £2 each from over there, make sure you get.
And joke aside, these are brilliant. We've been looking around for scoops for freaking months and we've nailed it at the perfect size, perfect colour, and all we need now is Parker Bait on them, really.
You know how many we've gone through? We've gone through 15 of them, gone through picking the best one, and we finally obviously got to this one, and this is the one that worked.
Yeah. So there it is. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Any questions? Bye.
There you go, guys. This is the bait that they made up. That looks amazing. Look at that. You see the maggots starting to work through in there now, guys, as well. Look. That is amazing. And this is solid as well. Really hard. Amazing. Let's get you turned around a minute, guys. Right, so thanks for joining us. We did really good in that live. Right. Hope you enjoyed it. Give you guys at home a little bit of insight to what we're doing today. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you all the next live, guys. Bye for now.